quality plays and musicals. The Canyon Theatre Guild also offers workshops.
Oh yeah, we're about to go on with Dr. Thomas Polucki. My man, my chiropractor.
Live on air.
And it's not just a chiropractor. There are chiropractors and there's chiropractors and there's chiropractors. He's the third one.
Early morning showers should clear out by midday today here in the Santa Clarita
So
Valley.
exciting.
Rain is on the way.
You good there? You want to pump up the seat?
I could pump up the volume?
Yeah, there's a lever right here.
Okay.
Black
Oh
violin.
yeah. It's like an amusement park.
That's bringing the blend of classical
Yeah.
and bluegrass to the Santa
Hey.
Clarita.
And these are omnidirectional, so you have to be right in the mic.
Okay. Super duper.
Good morning, Santa Clarita, and welcome to the Dr. Polucki Family Health Hour, AM 1220 KHTS, your hometown station. I'm your host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, and we have a special guest here in the studio today, Pure Energy Steve Factor.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor to be part of your radio show.
It's an honor to have you here, and I just want to say, I am so grateful for waking up and having these clouds roll through these mountains. You go out on a morning walk and I'm not a rainy, cloudy kind of guy. I moved to Southern California for a reason, but this is so rare, and it's just such a beautiful energy that's rolling through these mountains right now and giving us the water, which is so important, that we're going to be talking about.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
critically important. The energy from it's just a gift. And
Pure energy.
Pure energy.
Yes.
It's so nice. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things, but we're going to start off with another chance. I believe everybody deserves another chance, or at least most people deserve another chance. And so many of us made a promise a couple of weeks ago that we were going to change our lives dramatically, or at least one aspect of our lives dramatically. And unfortunately, for a big group of that group of people have already dropped out on their promise to themselves. But you know what? I've adopted the policy of getting excited about failure. Because the only way that failure is real is if you let it be something that just stops you in your tracks. Most people who are really, really successful fail all the time. They fail on a daily basis. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. You're not doing enough.
Yes.
So I've started really trying really hard every day to condition myself to be excited about failure.
Yes.
Because the only thing that makes failure permanent is to let it bring your energy down.
Yes.
But if you get excited about it, you attract the energy,
Yes.
and you actually learn from the failure, and you take it to a whole new level. So that's what another chance is all about. Failure is another chance of getting it right and even improving on it and getting it better.
So much so.
So you made a promise, you broke your promise, big deal. The only way it becomes a problem is if you let it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think it was Babe Ruth that was the strikeout king and
Absolutely.
the home run king.
Absolutely.
And I believe Michael Jordan has taken the most shots of any basketball player ever.
That's how you think of it.
And Abraham Lincoln was maybe one of the greatest failures of all time.
Absolutely.
And he has a whole failing until he got into the White House.
So
yes.
that's what today's show is about. So in that vein, when most people think about health, okay, here's how badly we are doing with this concept in this country. Most people are, as soon as you say health, their eyes glaze over and they're immediately thinking about something else, because health in their mind either means managing some kind of disease crisis or nothing at all. Those are the two possibilities when you hear the word health. You're either, okay, so all right, it's some kind of insurance or medical emergency, or it doesn't really mean anything at all. That's how twisted we got up about this. So instead, I've given up trying to talk about health to people. I've given up trying to educate people about their health, because future health or all that stuff, or avoiding problems in the future is not real. It just doesn't compute to people. But what does compute, what does sink in, what does resonate with people is energy. And as soon as I made that revelation in my life, you gave us a call.
Yeah, whoa, look at that.
Yeah,
pure energy.
Woohoo! So I don't think there's any coincidences at all.
Yes.
So can you, before we get into how to bring like pure energy into your life and start living a life of pure energy, tell me about how you got to the point where you called me.
Okay, well, I got to the point of my back was a little bit out of place. I wasn't feeling so good about it, and I got to hear about you through a very famous Dr. Ciro Rustisi in Kansas City, and he said, oh, you got to go see Thomas Polucki. Dr. Thomas Polucki is an amazing person inside and out, and he's going to help you get in alignment. And I saw you, and it's like, boom, the hips, the shoulders,
that's all great. That's all great. And we can talk about that in a minute, but no, how did you run into Ciro is what I'm saying. How did you make that initial connection?
Why do we know each Yes, well, pure energy. I'm known as the pure energy chef. Steve Factor, dubbed by Whole Foods as the pure energy chef, and I go around the country helping people, whether they have stage 4 cancer or they're perfectly healthy or anybody in between, to get them more into fruits and vegetables, and to get the rainbow into them, and living, hydrating, enzymatically rich foods instead of the brown, tan, and beige. We can now come into the rainbow instead of the dead, which, like, if you look under a microscope at cooked food, it's not moving at all. And you look under a microscope at living food, there's movement happening. So when we put the movement, this energy, into our energy, we get that energy.
Yeah, it's all about the energy.
It is, and we realize the energy. And one of the things that my main message I give to people, because people say, Steve, I want more energy. How do I get more energy like you? How do I do this? And I say all the time, you're not getting any more energy.
Right.
And they're like, huh? And then I'm like, the energy that we have pulsing through us is more than any of us can even conceive. Einstein, Tesla, even Yoda, they all talked about energy, like that it is in us. And so what I help people help themselves do is remove the obstructions that are blocking their birthright of pure energy.
Yeah.
So we're already it.
Right.
We don't become it, we're already it. Let's just get rid of what we're not.
Right.
Which is a very much freedom way of, and flow is freedom. And we could get into a whole flow topic, and I know we're going to be talking about a couple things soon, the water and the air, which are like flow.
Absolutely. Everything is flow.
Yes.
Everything is a resonating energy. And this isn't like touchy-feely, weird, mystical stuff.
Yeah.
Although you could go there. For those people who are really into that, I don't try to make them feel bad about that, because that is real.
Yes.
And measurable stuff.
Yes.
In quantum physics, the highest level of science right now is looking at the vibrational energy at the subatomic level. And I mean, it's crazy that the further we get advanced, the further back in history we have to go before we find people who are really talking about it, who own this 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago.
Yes.
The Tao of physics.
Yes.
I mean, it is all there already. People have been learning this and studying this and embracing this for thousands of years. It's just recently, within the past several hundred years, that has just been pushed back, that none of that is real, none of that is science. Here's what's real science. You've got this condition, we're going to give you this chemical to alter your condition, and that is all that you need to focus on, because everything else is hokey, it's not science, it's not real. And that's not working here in this country at all. We spend more on healthcare And here's the thing,
It's
you know,
really
Shakespeare
sick
said
there.
there's only two things that are guaranteed,
Yeah.
death and taxes. If you live here in America,
Yeah.
there's one more guarantee, that's rising healthcare costs.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a socialized system
Yeah.
or whether it's free market. The costs keep going up.
Yes. Yes.
That's what history shows us, that
Yes.
it's out of control.
Yes.
Because there's so much money at stake
Right.
of just getting people through and not really letting them be healthy. Healthy people don't buy drugs. Guess what?
Yes, yes,
That doesn't work.
yes,
That
yes.
doesn't work for a certain group of people that are making more money than anything. The pharmaceutical industry in this country
Yes.
is the 7th largest economy on the planet.
Yeah,
It's bigger than France.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Wow.
So there's
Yes.
just so much money at stake, and
So much.
if you are in any form of media,
Yes.
you are constantly bombarded with it in the print, on TV, and it's not even the obvious commercials, which are ridiculous if you ever pay attention to them.
Sure.
You pay attention to, oh, you've got this problem, well, take this. By the way, it's going to do this and this and this and this and
Yes.
this and kill you 17 different ways.
Yes.
But ask your doctor if that's right for you. I mean,
Yes.
it's just nuts.
Exactly right.
But we're not even talking about that.
Yeah.
We're talking about the embedded
Uh-huh.
stories, the stories
Oh,
that
wow.
are in the storyline of the program you're watching, or even the news, which is, you know, not real news, it's just another commercial. Because that's what pays the bills.
Yes.
So there's so much money at stake that people don't even stand a chance
Yes.
unless you start really questioning and thinking.
Mhm.
And that's the last thing most people want to do, is have to think about something. So
Yes.
it's just easier just to, okay,
Yes.
this is the way things are done. If I have a headache, I take this pill.
Yes.
If I wake up with this ache or pain, I take this pill. If I have a
Yes.
digestive problem, I drink this pink goop. If I, you know, I
Yes.
mean, on and on and on and
So
on
much
and on.
so. Well, it's important because you and I are teaching health.
Yeah.
And out in what is called the healthcare is really sick care, and they're not teaching health, they're teaching symptomology, and they're teaching, like, you got a headache, take this pill, and your headache will go away, and people are like, now I'm cured.
Right.
But why did we get the headache in the first place? If we can go to the actual causes, which true health does, if we go to the cause of the problem, then the symptoms automatically take care of themselves.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to energy. So I want to stick with this concept about energy is really health. Health is energy.
Yes.
Forget about all the other stuff about if you're not in daily pain, then you're healthy. If you
Yes.
if you're not on 17 different prescriptions
Right.
for, you know, named conditions that insurance will reimburse the doctor for labeling you with,
Yes.
then you're healthy. That kind of
Yes.
BS is just permeated, and that's why people just go blank and the eyes glaze over as soon as you start talking about health. But when you talk about energy, they're like, yeah, I want that. You know, maybe it's not the best strategy to wake up with a pot of coffee. Maybe it's not the best strategy to, if I want to go out with my friends, to, you know, do Red Bull shots. I mean, maybe it's not the best strategy, and that's where we come in. So
yes.
I like to put health into perspective using this analogy. Imagine you're stranded on a desert island, and this is a unique desert island. Instead of a desert island, let's say you land on a spaceship instead. Okay, because the desert island, you'll see how this is a better analogy now. Instead of a desert island, so you're in space, and just like that movie Gravity, Sandra Bullock has got to get back to Earth, right? So she gets out of her spaceship, which is totally crippled and no chance of surviving in that, and she gets into a hijacked spaceship. So she's, if you were her, and you had enough life support to last for a while, there becomes a hierarchy of how to stay alive, right?
Yes.
So here's what most people consider, if they even think in these terms. Okay, so you got 30 days before this becomes a real issue. You've got 30 days to find what on this spaceship, to put things into perspective.
Yes.
So I know you know the answer.
Sure.
So so what is
Yes.
a real important critical health issue that most people are not getting right?
Yes.
But we'll see where it lands in the overall scheme of things. So you got 30 days before you die from not having enough what?
Food.
Food, absolutely.
Yes.
So this is where it's real important to pick your foods properly, pick your foods wisely. Like you said, dead stuff doesn't resonate with your energy. Your body has to work so hard to extract any kind of nutrition from stuff that is manufactured.
Yes.
Like broken away from
Yes.
living tissue,
Sure.
living energy anymore.
Yes.
So the more technology that goes into preparing the food, and I'm talking about man-made technology,
Sure.
because there's incredible technology that is not man-based, that goes into all life processes that we're only beginning to understand. That's why I coined the phrase manufactured. You're bringing it away from the real technology that was imparted to it naturally.
Yes.
So-
I like it. I love that.
You get something that is brown. First of all, there's no life, vibrant visual energy in it
Yes.
at all.
Correct.
You know, the most healthiest foods look like the rainbow.
Yes.
They're yellow and red and orange and green and blue and indigo. All those colors mean something, and
Yes.
in part are easily put directly into the essentially rocket fuel for your metabolism, for your body, for your immediate use and
So much
immediate
so.
processing.
So much,
So that-
even more than antioxidants are these colors. Yes.
Well, they are antioxidants.
Sure, they're even more than that.
Yeah,
we go for yes,
but
yes,
they are that
yes,
too.
Yes.
So I don't poo-poo that either.
No.
So, all right. So I think we've covered food enough.
Yes.
So I don't want to harp on how food goes horribly wrong for most people. You can get that pretty much everywhere. Everybody's talking about that.
Yes.
And there's so much misinformation out there about, oh, everybody should be doing carbs, or nobody should be doing carbs, or everybody should be doing saturated fats, or nobody should be doing saturated.
Sure.
None of that is true.
Yes.
Because it's also an individual thing,
Yes.
which is the hardest sell out there. That's why it's not in the mass media.
Yes.
Nutrition is a personal thing. And in working with someone like us, we dial that into you individually, which is kind of why it's not on the news, because you can't say, well, everybody needs more of this. Now here's where you buy it. Because that's not true.
It's true. It's everywhere, and everyone's trying to do it. And one of the things that I do is have people that they can have their cake and eat it too.
There you go.
There is a way that this doesn't have to be a diet, which definitely has the word die in it.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't need to be a restrictive or a thing. I talk a lot about abundance. When we eat real food, we can eat abundantly. And I talk about sugar, salt, and fat in abundance for human health, which definitely needs some explaining, because anyone who just heard that is going to say, what did he just say?
Right.
That is crazy. So, I mean, I'll just go into that real quick if we have time.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so sugar, when I say sugar, salt, and fat in abundance for human health, sugar being real sugar, and this comes in the form of fruit. There's a lot of talk out there that fruit sugar is equal to like Reese's peanut butter sugar, or sugar is sugar, and sugar is bad for you. And I'm like, no, sugar is not bad for us. Sugar is amazing for human beings to have, unless it's cooked, complex, granulated, extracted, processed,
Engineered
powdered,
in a laboratory.
it has been so flippin' denatured.
Yeah, manufactured.
Manufactured.
You can use it.
I love that. Manufactured, definitely. And these isolates and these fractions, we want the whole fruit. And I'm not even into juice so much. And I own a juice bar, and that's a whole nother subject, but it's like the whole food is always going to be superior to an extraction of the food. And then when you go so many extractions down and manufacture down, and all of a sudden it's like frankenfood. It's not even food anymore. So the sugar from fruit is amazing for human beings to have, and we need to respect when and how to have the fruit, and in what combinations, and with what other foods and not other foods. And that's a whole nother subject, and we'll get into that too, possibly in this show or maybe another time. Salt. We want salt. And it's like, salt? What I mean by salt is sodium and all the other essential minerals. And they come first from green leafy vegetables, sea vegetables, maybe some high quality rock salts or sea salt, not the fast food iodized table salts that everyone is going crazy on, and the MSGs and all of that stuff, not that salt, the real. And then the fats we want from avocados and nuts and seeds and coconuts and things of the real fats. And when we get enough of this real sugar, salt, and fat, we will crave the fake, processed, denatured, and extract, granulated, all that stuff. It goes away. And we don't want it because we're actually getting what our bodies need: sugar, salt, and fat. They need it, you know, that this is the food, talking like 30 days, we're going to need some sugar, we're going to need some salt, we're going to need some of those minerals, we're going to need some fat.
Yeah, that's the problem with most best-selling diets, is they pull those things out, so you're able to, just by calorie restriction and whatever detoxification you might possibly go through the process, you're able to drop some inflammatory weight and maybe even some fat, but you're also going to lose in most of the diet plans as much muscle as you do fat, and then you're in trouble. And as soon as you get off of that plan, because you've been restricting from really important vital macronutrients, you just go nuts as soon as you're off it for the overwhelm, and it's just so common, rebound, yo-yo, all of that stuff. That's why it doesn't work.
So much so. And I say this to my clients. They say, a lot of clients come to me and they say, Steve, I have such a sweet tooth, what do I do? And I tell them, you need to eat more sugar. And then you won't just eat the real one, and you won't want the fake one that you're going crazy on. So,
Okay, so we just covered one of the 4 things that you absolutely have to make right. If you're going to talk about health and energy, food is the first thing that people talk about. Food is the most marketed process in health right now. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and since there's so much money at stake, the large corporations have gotten involved, and the bottom line is, it is all about profit margins. It's not about what people really need in order to live at the highest energy level possible. So there's so much misinformation out there. The stuff that comes across in major media is almost guaranteed failure. Almost guaranteed failure. But you find something like this, this outlet, and you may have a much better chance of making it so much easier and having so much higher quality, high energy. When we get back from the break, we're going to give you the other 3 secrets that supercharge your health in 2017, giving you another chance at really making high energy, pure energy health a reality in 2017. You're listening to the Dr. Polucki Family Health Hour, AM 1220 KHTS, your hometown station.
Would you like the security of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage refi with the lowest payment possible?
I'll go check out what they're saying. You're still on, brother. You're still alive. It doesn't stop. How's everyone doing out there? All right. We're having the radio show all. So fun. We're on a little break right now. Dr. Thomas Polucki throwing down, telling people how it really is. We got to know more about how it really is, right, everybody? More truth, more truth.
Really makes a big difference. To find out how big, just call 855-875-CASH. That's 855-875-CASH to slice your money right now.
Good.
So we're live on this too? Are we live right now? We're still live on this one.
They can't hear you, they're hearing the commercials. They're hearing straight from the board.
Experience the continent of Africa like never before. From sea to sea, watch baboons, emus, leopards, and more explore their amazing new homes, and watch South African penguins swim in our first ever saltwater aquatic. 6 new habitats that are ready to rock. Africa Rocks.
4 seconds.
Coming this
4
summer
seconds.
to San Diego Zoo. For more information, visit sandiegozoo.org. And get ready for incredible adventure like never before at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park.
Pure energy, everybody.
Zoo Safari Park.
It is on.
Africa Tram, Cheetah Run, Lemur Walk.
We need more and more of this, more broadcasting of things of real health.
Make your day more wild.
We're doing it. We're doing it here in the Santa Clarita Valley and north, and on the internet as well, which is everywhere. Yeah, so good.
Safaris depart daily. Book yours today at san diego zoo safari park.org.
Welcome back to the Dr. Polucki Family Health Hour, AM 1220 KHTS, your hometown station. I'm your host, Dr. Thomas Polucki. In the studio, we have special guest, Pure Energy Steve Factor. And Steve made his overwhelming web presence with the Pure Energy 1111.
1111, live videos I do every single day. We're doing it right now on this show. And every day Pacific Standard Time, no matter where I am in the country, I am on air. And Monday through Friday is typically, not today, but typically I'm in a kitchen making food and showing people how to make some amazing, ridiculous, rawtastic, rawdonkulous food, raw food.
That's great. And that's really what I want to get into here,
Okay.
but
Yep.
I just want to backstep because just in case anybody is just tuning in.
Yes.
How did you break? Because you have a ridiculous following on Facebook Live. So what broke that for you?
Well, it really was a matter of consistently being on Facebook and giving, and continually giving tips, health tips, recipes, my love, some facts about nature and biochemistry that work for people when they do this, testimonials of my clients, and I just kept giving people hope and inspiration on a daily basis, and my following grew, and it's just scratching the surface of what my vision is.
Yeah, I get it. So you want to share that? You want to become accountable for it? Because I'll keep you accountable.
Well, I ultimately would like to get 1 million people on the Pure Energy Cleanse.
Okay,
1 million.
Can you talk about that for a second, real
Sure.
quick? What is the raw energy cleanse?
So the Pure Energy Cleanse is one. It's a cleanse where there's no hunger allowed. So if you want hunger, go find another cleanse. It is an abundant cleanse where we are eating fruit and vegetables, nuts and seeds, uncooked, and I put it in a way that is very tasty. Every single thing tastes good on it. There's nothing that's like, oh, I got like a wheatgrass or something like, okay, this is good medicine. No, we want amazing raw meat. Every time I eat, I'm in euphoric ecstasy, or I don't put it in my mouth. Me or my clients. This is not a deprivation or a diet or anything like that. People think I'm talking sugar, salt, and fat in abundance the way nature intended it for us and has given us all of these gifts. So it's basically the Pure Energy Cleanse, which I deliver and get to in the LA area, and then I have an online version of it where you can do it yourself all over the country. And that is a 6-pack of drinks. And the 6-pack of drinks I do this thing called fastest cars first. So the first thing that comes down the tubes is going to be the fastest. The last thing that comes down the tubes being the digestive tract, is going to be the slowest. This way we don't have a traffic jam. A lot of times people are putting a slow thing in and then putting fruit on top of it, and the fruit ferments, and then all bets are off on the power of fruit. So the 6-pack and the fastest cars first principle is followed by an even slower big salad at night. And the drinks are basically, I start off with a lemon water, then I go to an orange juice, then I go to an orange smoothie, then I go to a purple smoothie, we're going through the rainbow now, and then we go to a green smoothie, and then we go to a soupy. Now the soupy, just the name itself has got to make you want to have a soupy. It is the cutest, most adorable name ever. Soup, just say soupy to yourself. You're going to smile if you look in the mirror and say soupy. It's a cross between a smoothie and a soup. And indeed, soups have become the new smoothies out there, these savory smoothies. And so
thickness to them.
There's thickness.
So
Each
they
car.
stick around for a while.
Yes.
And keep you satisfied longer.
Exactly. Each car of the 6-pack is sticks around longer, is a little bit thicker, a little bit more dense, a little more fat when we get into the evening, a little less fruit when we get into the evening. And so this process has helped people release weight. I mean, losing weight is so easy. You just got to be willing to eat sugar, salt, and fat in abundance. And if you are, and you work with me, you can't keep weight on if you tried. And we want to. I don't care if you eat until you throw up. Like, you cannot. And the reason I say the word abundance in the food, and this, a lot of people are like, isn't this gluttony or the American way or what got us into trouble in the first place? Like, no, nature is abundant. And real food actually has all the water and the fiber and the vitamins and the minerals and the this and the that when we consume it and it hits our stomach, it sends a signal to our brain that not only are we finished, done, and complete, but we're satisfied. And this happens at the perfect time, every time. There's no such thing as overeating in nature.
Right.
No animal in the wild is overeating. Only humans do this kind of thing. Only humans know about like glycemic indexes and protein grams and calories and numbers that man made up. And only humans are in a health crisis.
Manufactured.
The manufactured human beings are becoming fractured as like they are like splitting themselves. In fact, it brings up a point of integrity, because we're a lot of humans are split, and when we integrate those parts of us, we're in an integrity. And I love I just spontaneously came up with that. And that's the thing too, when you start to get into these foods, you start to spontaneously activate what I call genius. And I believe all of us are. And just like all of us have this energy that's like limitless and we can't even conceive it, when we get to the root of who we are by uncovering those things and getting rid of all of those things we're not, then we're left with us, and us is beautiful, magnificent, and pure flippin' energy.
That's awesome. That's why you're on the show today.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful
Yes.
that our paths have crossed and become
too.
even synergistic and blossomed into what we're currently
So
doing
much
here.
so. I don't know how like the world doesn't know about Thomas Polucki on a major level. Like you guys don't know. You if you're on my or you're hearing on the air or wherever it is, come see him one time. Your life will change. And you're gonna be like, what? I was doing this for so long and doing all that, and you're like in this maze of like confusion, and you're repeating the same thing year after year after year, and this is why we do every day, every second, every moment. We have another chance. We could always come back to the yes. We don't have to wait for January 1 to do the big resolutions. We could do it on January 5, and we could do it on March 5, and we could do it on November 10th and December 25th. We could do it whenever we want to say yes to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is the show title today, Another Chance at It.
Yes.
So we started off with an analogy
Mhm.
of, okay, you're Sandra Bullock in that
Yes,
movie,
yes.
and you just lost your spaceship,
Yes.
your lifeline, so you're
Yes.
staying alive.
Yes.
And you got to get to another spaceship, and you get into that spaceship, and what most people consider, if they're even considering,
Yes.
if they're even thinking in terms of health and high energy, the first thing they go to is the food. What foods are we putting into? We covered that.
Yes.
So the Eat the Rainbow.
Yes.
You just did a great
Thank you.
outline of your cleanse and
Yes.
all of that, and the energies and the
Yes.
carbohydrates, the
Mhm.
sugars,
Mhm.
the sugars, the fats,
Yes.
and most importantly,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you got 30 days
Yes.
before that becomes a real issue for most people.
Yes.
30 days before systems start shutting down if you don't put any food in your body.
Yes.
Something 10 times more important. You've only got 3 days. You
Yes.
just landed on that spaceship. You got 3 days to find what?
I'm gonna drink some water. Let me drink some right now. I'm so thirsty.
And that's what really supercharges the raw foods.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
They're not dried down. They're not desiccated. They're not over-processed. They
Yes.
still have the living water in
Yes.
them. Because there's a big difference between the water you get
Yes.
from
Mhm.
preferably organically non-GMO grown plant,
Yes.
than you would get from a processed bottle
Absolutely.
of plastic coated
Absolutely.
water.
For sure.
There's a huge difference in
Yes.
in the inherent energy
Oh, for sure.
of what the technology that plant applied to that water
Absolutely.
to the technology that put it in this plastic bottle.
We're talking nature and denatured. I mean, and we're talking about eating more water.
Yeah.
And this is a concept, eating more water, what does that mean? Eating more fruits and vegetables. This water, and a lot of the fake waters out there, or the manufactured waters, they just come and they kind of go through us, and we're not even really hydrating.
Yeah.
And when we get into real
Actually,
foods,
most waters now dehydrate.
look at
Because
that.
they are so manufactured
Yeah.
that as they go through the body, they
Yeah.
leach out
Yes.
our electrolytes, which
Look
in
at that.
turn pull
Yes.
the water out of the cell.
Yes.
So this is most likely more dehydrating
Yes.
than hydrating.
Yes.
But
Yes.
raw foods don't do that.
Raw foods don't
It's
do
the
that.
exact opposite.
Right, or if you get true spring water, like you go to a spring, like
Right.
nature designed it. I mean, I've had some spring water in Canada, straight from the spring, and I was like, oh,
That's what it's supposed to be.
this is what water is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to drink from
Yeah.
a glacier in Alaska.
Yes.
And once you do that,
Yes.
your concept of what water is
Yes.
totally transformed. I mean, there are gold flakes
Mhm.
in the water of this glacier.
Yes.
So it's highly mineralized.
Yes.
It's perfect. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with this.
Yes.
And you put that in your mouth and you're like, wow,
Mm.
that's different.
Yes.
That is really, really
Yes.
different.
A lot of people don't know how dehydrated they truly are until they truly get hydrated for the
Right.
first time.
And the best option that we
Yes.
have here is get it from raw vegetables.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get it from raw fruits.
Absolutely.
Nature is amazing in making the best of the situation, and if the technology that is in those living organisms
Yes,
is going to make the best situation for the water that you give it.
for sure. And these fruits and vegetables that are water dominant. You know, a lot of people say fruit has too much sugar. And there's a lot of sugar in fruit, and again, sugar's not bad, and a lot of sugar in vegetables, and again, sugar's not bad, but it's mostly water.
Sure.
Like fruit is like up to 93% water, and even the banana that's like the least hydrating fruit, one of the least, is 75% water. So when people start to eat this water, there's like a time release of hydration that goes through the cells and truly hydrates the human being.
Yeah, perfect technology.
Perfect
Not
technology.
manufactured.
Yes.
So, okay, so you've got 30 days to find food, you've only got 3 days to find water. And what I love about the raw approach is that you're combining those two synergistically. So
Yes.
you're covering the food and you're covering the
Mhm.
water in the same process.
Yes.
You've only got 3 minutes on that spaceship to find what?
Air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the most overlooked, well, the second most overlooked, because there's something even more important we'll get to in just a few minutes. But
Mhm.
you've only got 3 minutes, which is thousands of times more important. I mean, this
Mhm.
isn't theoretical. This is a math formula. You got
Mhm.
30 days food,
Mhm.
3 days
Mhm.
water. You've got 3 minutes
Mhm.
air.
Mhm.
Nobody pays attention to this.
Yes.
I just did, I'm doing my Activate classes, 8 classes in a row starting in
Mhm.
January.
Mhm.
One of the clients that have signed up for this is
Mhm.
a respiratory therapist.
Mhm.
And after we did this exercise, she was like, oh my God, I should know this.
Mm. Mhm.
We don't talk in these terms with
Mhm.
our patients. I said, you're going to go back and you're going to be the best respiratory therapist on
Mhm.
the planet, because now you're going to teach people how to breathe.
Nice.
Instead of
So
just
good.
which dial on which chemical to pump into their lungs.
Mhm.
You're going to start teaching people how to breathe and give them the real
Yes.
technology
Yes.
of the value
Mhm.
of breathing properly.
Mhm.
So, unless you're a martial artist or
Mhm.
pretty high up in yoga, or a newborn baby,
Mhm.
I can almost guarantee you're not breathing right. Because
Agreed.
we're born with that technology, we lose it.
Yes.
The more we learn, the less appropriately, the less properly we breathe. So it sounds crazy, but this is a really high form of medicine that we all get incredibly wrong.
Absolutely.
And the reason is, if you tell people to take a deep breath, more than 9 out of 10 of them, you're going to see their chest heave up and out and forward. And that is absolutely the wrong way to do it, because that is the emergency accessory muscles that are trying to raise the rib cage from muscles in your neck. We're not designed to do that. That is emergency breathing for when the diaphragm is paralyzed. There are some cases where, I'm not going to get into all the things, but it triggers every single emergency response in your body. All the emergency chemicals go into full-on mode when you start breathing by heaving your chest up.
Yes.
So even if you do get some oxygen in the top part of your lungs, which is the least effective way to breathe,
Yes.
all the stress and danger and emergency, run for your life, fight for your life, chemistry is running through your whole body just by breathing in that way.
Yes.
And that's how most people think they're relaxing, by taking a deep breath. And when you ask them to do it, but nature has a different technology for us.
Yes.
A much more efficient one, and it's a diaphragm. It separates your abdominal cavity and your chest cavity, and by dropping that diaphragm down, you pull air down deep into where the most important transactions go on, down deep in your lungs.
Yes.
You totally shut down all of the stress chemistry in your body. You circulate all of your immune system. You circulate all of your oxygenation and repair and rest and relax and reproduce. All of that system turns on.
Yes.
You simply breathe by moving your belly instead of your chest.
Yes. And
It's a beautiful thing.
It's important to know that after that happens, every single part of our entire life improves.
Yeah, you start vibrating at a higher energy.
Yes.
That's why it's so important in things like martial arts, in things like yoga. Unfortunately, for a large group of the population, they're never going to get. They think martial arts is a weekend self-defense class. Martial arts is a lot more.
Oh yeah. No,
And so is yoga. It's a lot more than stretching out tight spots.
Oh.
It is real medicine that predates the bottle of pills by several thousand years.
Oh my gosh, so much so. And the importance of breath. And if anyone out there still doesn't think that breath is important, hold your breath. And the longer you hold
how
it,
that works for you.
the more you will understand the importance of air and oxygen, and that is, and this is one of the principles I teach of the 7 holistic health practices in the Pure Energy Cleanse. I teach 7 holistic health practices that have nothing to do with food, that if anybody does these things, they increase, and air is for sure one of them. And I recommend to people to get more plants around the house.
Okay.
And more plants. We have a symbiotic relation. I'll just finish with this. Plants give off carbon dioxide, oxygen. Taking carbon dioxide, we do the opposite. We start to breathe better around more plants. We're back to nature.
More living energy surrounded
Yes.
by. Okay, we only have a minute to the
Yes.
most important thing, which is where I come in, which is why you came to me
Yes.
in the first place, is you literally have less than a millisecond. The legal, technical, clinical definition of life and death is nerve energy.
Yes.
That energy being expressed through your nerve system.
Yes.
And if it's being interfered with in any way whatsoever, whether it be chemically, whether it be physically, whether it be emotionally, there is going to be a lower energy expression throughout the entire system, and it is going to ultimately affect some area, manifest in some disease process. But focusing on the today's talk, just living at higher energy. You want to really experience high energy, get your spine in alignment,
Yes.
where there's no of the aches and pains that we just take for granted and reach for a grab of pills, grab a bottle of pills to deal with on a daily basis. When you're moving freely and there's no restrictions and you're without any aches and pains, naturally, not chemically induced, but naturally, just feeling that total ease of movement and the fluidity of the movement, that just supercharges all of the electrical activity going up into the brain to process. It's like an antenna to suck in the energy from whatever source you believe in.
Yes.
And that's what our type of chiropractic, the type of chiropractic that you discovered in Kansas City and got referred to my office is all about.
So good. I mean, really going to the deeper levels, and not just that so many chiropractors do. You do it on a very deep level from the inside out, and that's why I appreciate what you do so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And we'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to the Dr. Polucki Family Health Hour, AM 1220 KHTS, your hometown station.
The Sandfire impacted many residents, and now the recovery begins.
We got 5 more minutes. Let's see if everyone's still on. You guys still on? Yeah. Still on. All right. Cool.
CBC can clean your upholstery, area rugs, and carpet.
There's somebody by the name of Tony Polucki on there. Do you know her?
Call someone you can trust. Call CBC. Short break. 2221. Learn more about CBC cleaning and restoration at CBCFirst.com.
We got 8. Okay, I can give you 4 to wrap up your message.
Okay.
Encapsulate your message. So when we come back in, I'll be watching the clock so you can just free flow, but know that you got about 4 minutes to get it all out there.
A 4-minute flow, okay.
Because I gotta close out the show.
Sure, okay, so where's do you have a stopwatch or a clock?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, I will look at that, and when I start, I will go for 4 minutes.
Come back.
4200. That's 287-4200.
You got it.
Hometown station, hometown station. AM 1220 KHTS.
Welcome back to the Dr. Polucki Family Health Hour, and unfortunately, this is our last segment with Steve Factor Pure Energy. So, Steve, you tell us.
Sure. Okay, so I just have about 3 or 4 minutes right now to wrap this up. And the basic thing I want to convey to people is that health is really, 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 really simple. And it's not all this complicated, all this stuff that's going around. Like, you gotta know that we want to simplify. Less is more. Nature, everything comes from nature, including these microphones and our cell phones and our cars and our TVs are just many, 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 many steps removed from nature. The fewer steps we could remove from the original source, the closer we're going to be to nature and the more alignment we're going to have. Not just the vertebrae alignment like Dr. Polucki helps so many people with, but we're in alignment because nature has our back. It always has. And my company really has 2 compasses, or 2 founding fathers, so to speak, or mother really, is nature and love. Nature and love are the 2 ultimate healers. Nature's not just what we're eating, but what's eating us. And so if we could grasp the love idea, which to a lot of people might be hairy-fairy, and oh yeah, love, love, love. Most people are running on love's opposite, which is fear, and the breathing, and you know, everything gets compromised. And so when we're in love, we're in our true essence. And when we're aligned with nature, we're back home again. And this is why people heal when they're in nature. And they feel good. And when they take a family vacation, they go into nature. And they're around trees, and they're around birds, and they're around the sun. And you know, and then if we could start to eat the foods that were designed for us to eat, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds uncooked, we will start to get natural results, which I call pure energy. And this is what I do. You can find me, Steve Factor, on Facebook. It's the biggest area that I am. The most time I spend is on Facebook, Steve Factor, 1111 video every single day. And then my website is www.pureenergyfactor.com. And I have coaching programs one-on-one. and I have coaching, group coaching, and again, I travel across the country to people and stay at their place for a week if they are in need of either upping their life because they're in a disease, one of the 20,000 names of a disease, or they're healthy and they just want to have really good recipes and up their energy to another level, or anybody in between.
Love it.
Thank you.
Steve Factor, Pure Energy.
Thank you.
If you've liked what you've heard here today, we are still doing our Active 8 classes. The original group is closed out, but you can get in to any one of the individual classes. We still have what happens with nutrition and detox. We've touched on that a little bit today, but as you know, this can go on for several hours. We give you all of the basics on
Yes.
how to make nutrition and supplementation and detoxification make sense in your life, so that you don't have to keep being sucked into the latest craze. You'll understand the process, and then you'll never have another question about it again. We give you a no excuses exercise class where you don't have to join a gym, where you don't have to pay a personal trainer, where again, once you understand the fundamental concepts of what exercise does for you and how to do it properly and not get hurt in the process, a handful of exercises for somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes a day is all you're ever going to need in order to really have high, good quality energy in your life. We teach a foam roller class. Now that is kind of a specialty to deal with some of the history that some of the baggage, some of the parking brakes in the soft connective tissues of your body that are really limiting you and predisposing you towards future injuries. We show you how to erase that from your life. So you're going to move more freely and more pain-free for the rest of your life. We do a class called the Skeleton Key, where we tie it all together. I mean, 25 years of doing this, I get the same questions over and over. Well, is there a sleeping position? Is there a sitting position? How should I set up my car? How should I set up my laptop? How should I do this? How should I do that? The basics, sure, of how to line things up properly, but more importantly, how to energize those things in your life so that if you're stuck behind a desk 8 hours a day and you drive an hour in traffic, it's not going to tear you apart. Instead, you're going to put it all to good use for you.
Yes.
And I mean, actually make that part of your physical medicine by understanding the concepts of how to make these things that are hurting most people actually benefit you. We call it the Skeleton Key for a lot of different reasons. I'll get into that. And in the 7th week, we teach you basic acupressure. How cool would it be to learn? It takes about an hour to get the basics out. You're not going to be able to go out and practice professionally, but in about an hour, you can learn the basics where in 5 minutes, you can find a point on your partner's body that will immediately reduce tension, stress, and pain.
So
How
good.
cool would that be?
So good.
And it's a great way to spend quality time with each other. You get this whole package, or you can piecemeal it out. You just contact the office, 661-753-9340, 661-753-9340, and ask about the Active 8 group. You've been listening to the Dr. Polucki Family Health Hour here with our special guest, Steve Factor.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure, a great show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Up next is Carrie Quashman with Families in Action. How'd you like that?
Thank you. So good. How'd you guys like it?
What's up?
You guys feeling it?
I felt high energy.
Good, good. Good, good. They liked it, everybody. They liked it. It's a wrap. Until the next time, y'all. Picka, 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 pure energy.